Hi everyone, it's Phil here from Ashland Leather, and I'm very excited to introduce to you a brand new wallet style. This is the Gus Card Case. We have a bunch of different options that are available for a pre-order today and through the next week, and then I have a couple private stock versions of this wallet to release at the same time. All right, let's take a closer look at this brand new wallet style, and the first one that we're going to look at today is made in natural Plainsman chrome excel leather. That's actually the one that I've been carrying around every day for the last 4 months, and I've really loaded this one up to the gill, so to speak. We've sort of doubled what we normally suggest to carry in this one. We suggest carrying 12 credit cards, and that's what's in the front here. These are 12 separate credit cards, and I find these to be really easy to get in and out. This design, there's 2 card holders on the inside, and they sort of expand to accommodate more stuff, and they're made a little bit wider than most of our normal card holders. The other thing that's great about this design is you can sort of squeeze the edges like this to allow easy access to these cards to get inside and out, just like I did there. So this is 12 credit cards, and this is again what we've suggested most people carry, along with a little bit of folded cash. But also in the back card holder of the one I've been carrying, I've got 12 business cards, and these are actually really, really thick cards. They're a little bit thicker than a traditional business card, so you can probably fit a good amount of business cards depending on how thick yours are. I'm just very surprised and really impressed with how much this little Gus card case can carry. So the Gus card case will hold plenty of credit cards as well as business cards, but we've also designed this to accommodate US dollars. So let's take a look at how the dollars fit inside here. Inside the front slot, very easy, especially when there's a little bit more stuff inside, a little bit more structure. You can again squeeze the edges of this card slot to allow things to be a little bit more easily accessible, like you see here. And then it also fits fully concealed inside the back slot here. If you're using some taller notes like taller euros or taller yens, you might have to fold those into thirds, but here is the full distance inside the back slot here. It's about 75 millimeters up to the top of that back card slot. And here's the measurement of the front card slot. You can see it's about 72 millimeters all the way to the top. Something completely unique about this design is you'll notice when you get it, it will look like this. That front flap is not creased and folded over. We've designed this with ease of use in mind. So as you wear the wallet, and again, here's the one that I've been wearing for about 4 months, within a day, you'll start to see this flap start to mold and form over the top of your credit cards. We did try a few different options to sort of hold that flap into place. We tried a band over the top. I just found them to be a little bit too cumbersome to use. And then after using this, even for a couple days, I noticed just how stuff stayed inside. You'll notice today that every leather that we use for this new wallet design is made in vegetable tanned leather. And the first one we're going to look at is this natural Plainsman chrome excel. The Plainsman chrome excel is a combination tan leather, so it starts with a chrome tan base, and then they add some tree bark extracts to make it a veg tan retannage. And this is just like the traditional chrome excel, except it's very, very grainy. If you look closely here, you'll see much more pronounced grain character. So here's the brand new one that has not been used yet. Let me give you a good look at the grain character of this wallet. Take a look at this inside card slot here. I just noticed this particular piece of leather that this card holder was cut from, a very intense grain character on the natural Plainsman. And the reason that you're seeing such a pronounced grain on this particular piece of leather is because this leather was air dried, so it shrinks back in on itself, and you get this really pronounced grain character, as opposed to some other drying methods where they press the leather and sort of squeegee it out. This one has much more openness to it. And for the next week until April 1st, we're offering a pre-order discount on the natural Plainsman Gus card case. Up next, we have another option in the classic color number 8 shell cordovan. Color number 8 shell cordovan is a dark brown and burgundy shade. And because it's a full veg tan leather, you'll see this flap mold and conform over all the contents on the inside. It'll keep everything nicely in place. And if you look at this particular Gus card case, we've got an incredible Horween ink stamp. We try to cut those into nice visible spots. You might see it there. You might see it above this card holder here. And of course, the back of this wallet is one big continuous piece of color 8 shell cordovan. Another classic to show you here, this is black shell cordovan. Again, try to cut that Horween ink stamp into a nice visible spot. You'll also notice that the reverse side of this black shell cordovan is this greenish shade, and it will range in color. So sometimes it's a little bit of darker forest green, sort of in this range, and other times it can get a little bit more tan, a little slightly bit less green. Definitely the most underrated shell cordovan color. It's got a really sleek, sort of futuristic look to it. Up next is our most popular shell cordovan color. This is the one that people pick up from us the most, natural shell cordovan. And for all the shell stuff, I need to mention, these are difficult for us to make because we need to pick naturally thin pieces of leather for all these interior card holders. So they're pretty tough to get. So we're going to be limiting our offerings on the shell options. So the natural shell cordovan here, there's only going to be 5 of these available for the pre-order. And I think people enjoy the natural shell cordovan because it starts off so light in color. And as this develops, it just picks up an incredible patina, become much more of a darker brown. It's more of like a caramel brown, a little bit more golden, just with normal use. And last but not least for the pre-orders, this is English Tan Dublin on the Gus card holder. This is our most popular non-shell cordovan leather. It's actually a personal favorite of mine. I'm wearing an English Tan Dublin belt, an English Tan Dublin Apple Watch band right now. I just love the English Tan Dublin. Incredible grain character and figuring on most pieces of Dublin, and that figuring does tend to vary from piece to piece. And the thing I love most, perhaps, about the English Tan Dublin, not only does it have exceptional grain character, but it has a really great depth of color. So you can see as I turn this and shift it around, you'll notice the color ranges a little bit red and brown at some angles, and then other angles it gets a little bit more yellow and tan, and then it has this great burst effect. You can see where the leather has flexed and creased. We've mobilized the wax that has been finished onto the surface of the Dublin, and we're revealing a little bit of these lighter undertones. So these are the 5 colors that are available for pre-order on our website right now. So if you're seeing this video, it should be available starting today. We have the 3 different shell cordovan colors available, as well as 2 non-shell cordovan colors. And you can find all these pre-order items on the sale page of our website, ashlandleather.com. And again, these will be available until April 1st. All right. Hiding on the left side here, let's get into some private stock. I've been enjoying launching some of the private stock stuff along with the brand new wallet styles. I think it's just a fun way to give the new product a nice little launch out to sea. So this one here is English Tan Dublin. This wasn't originally intended to be a private stock Gus Card Case, but it had this really interesting Horween measuring machine stamp. Each side of leather that we buy from Horween gets measured, and then they stamp that measurement along with their company name one time on the back of the leather. So sometimes we'll try to cut it into nice, interesting spots. If we want to decipher this code here, this says 16.9 square feet, and it was measured on February 27th. Up next, another private stock Gus Card Case, and one of the most sought after shell cordovan colors. This is whiskey shell cordovan, and then the whiskey shell cordovan is kind of similar to the natural shell cordovan, but it's much more yellow and golden in color. So if you look at this angle, see how much more yellow and golden that is? And if we compare this whiskey shell to the natural shell here, you'll notice the difference. The natural shell has a little bit more orange and yellow to it, where the whiskey shell is slightly darker, and again, a little bit more golden and brown. Up next here, we have a really beautiful Gus Card Case, and one of my favorite looks. This is reverse color 8 shell cordovan with extra dye splatter, and then we've hand glazed and polished in that reverse side of the shell, so you get an extra bright, shiny luster. This side of the leather is actually the unintended side, but we think this patterning and the random dye marks are just so interesting that we like to cut it into wallets, and then sometimes we like to polish over it. So this is the way that you can expect the reverse side of the shell cordovan to wear naturally. It develops a really bright, shiny, almost glassy surface luster, and we sort of just expedited that process. On the inside, more of the reverse color 8 shell cordovan for this front card slot, and then the interior of the wallet, since we flipped everything backwards, this is the standard color 8 shell cordovan, the shell side on the inside here. Up next, really great color. This is one we don't see very often. This is magenta shell cordovan, and if I can show you the back here, we give you a little bit of extra context. And what you'll notice about this shell is it has a really dramatic and dynamic color range. So some angles, it will appear a little bit more purple, almost more like the ultraviolet shell cordovan that we have been seeing for the last few years. But as I tilt it and look at it at a more aggressive angle and sort of spin it around, it will get a little bit more pink, which is totally fascinating to me. See that pink shade at this angle? Let me spin it around a little bit darker at this angle. Really dramatic shift on this magenta shell cordovan. The other interesting thing about the magenta shell is sometimes we get these really neat sort of pink dye splatter on the reverse side of the leather. Another incredible piece here. This is one, I think we've only had a handful of these shells ever come our way. This is marbled magenta shell cordovan, kind of similar to the marbled ultraviolet that you may have seen before, but a little bit lighter in color, a little bit more of these pink tones come through. And what's really incredible about this particular marbled shell cordovan color is the range of color from that orangey tan, more of the natural base color of the natural shell cordovan. It sort of ranges into that pink, and I think those two colors go really well together. A final look at the inside of this one with the marbled magenta shell cordovan on this card slot, and then we've got all the reverse side of the marbled magenta up top. A couple more wallets to show you here. Again, this is that most underrated shell color, the black shell cordovan, but we've combined this one. If you look sort of inside the credit card holders here, this is actually color 4 shell cordovan inside here. So we flip those backwards. So we've got reverse color 4 on the inside with black shell cordovan on the outside. Up next here is one of the most recent color additions from Horween. This is the violet shell cordovan, and the violet shell cordovan is just a really great purple shade. Much more of a straightforward purple when you compare it to something like the ultraviolet or even the magenta shell. Both of those two colors have much more red to them. And let me give you a look at the inside. We've got the shell cordovan card holder sitting on top of the reverse shell cordovan on the inside. Last but not least, total curveball here and my favorite texture from Horween. This is the Western texture shell cordovan on garnet shell cordovan on the outside. And the garnet shell cordovan has that really dramatic color range we've been talking about. Some angles it's a little bit more brown, other angles it's quite a bit more red. And garnet shell cordovan is the most red color that Horween makes on the shell cordovan. I just think that texture makes the color look even more interesting. What's totally different about this one is not only do we have the garnet shell cordovan with the Western texture, we also have natural shell cordovan with the Western texture, and here's the total curveball. We added an additional card holder on the inside. Unlike the standard Gus Card Case that has 2 card slots on the inside, we added a third for this guy. So you have one in the very back, one in the center, and then one in the front. So we thought we'd throw out a total unique sort of play on the Gus, even on the day we're launching it. So let me know what you think about this brand new wallet. I've been enjoying mine for the last 4 months, and I'm just really surprised at how easily this is carried in a front pocket. Honestly, I'm mostly a back pocket wallet kind of guy, but I've been really enjoying wearing this one in my front pocket. You can see here on the natural Plainsman, just totally digging how this is wearing around the cards on the Gus Card Case here. So if you're interested in picking up a Gus Card Case, you'll find the private stock wallets on our private stock page right now. And if you want to pick up one of the pre-order ones, we'll be delivering those in about 3 or 4 weeks. You'll find these on the sale page of our website, ashlandleather.com. I hope you guys enjoyed checking out this new wallet. I'm really excited about this one. And until next time, I hope you have a good one and take care.